On your station, Isaac 98.1 FM, The Promise. Your girl, Madonna J, in your company. Great to be locked on with you guys. And I know many persons are waiting. I see Lenore locked on from all the way in Brooklyn. I've got persons locked on in New Jersey, in the UK. Joycelyn Suknanan, wonderful evening going out to you. Teresa, Khalifa, Gwyneth, Simply Beautiful. Grace McNeely in Canada. Listra Jack, great to have everyone that is coming in because this evening it's all about being informed, and once we become informed and educated about something, we're able to make better decisions, better choices, and to help others as well. I've been getting calls throughout the week because sometimes when persons talk about this issue, you find when recommended, they are in denial. And I have two persons here very much into treating with autism. I've got Monique, she telling her surname. And I've got Andrea, one of our Kingdom Kids moms. So, we're here tonight and we're happy to be in your presence and to share with you all about autism spectrum disorder. And I'm hoping to have a very special guest, a surprise guest as well. So we'll see how that goes, right? So obviously, you look up autism and it says that autism is autism spectrum disorder. That's ASD is a development disability caused by differences in our brain. So people with ASD often have problems with social communication and interaction, and restricted or repetitive behavior or interests. People with ASD may also have different ways of learning, moving, or paying attention. So I'm sure some parents could identify because it's something that persons use from time to time so regularly. ASD, And if in case you may have heard it before, now you understand what it means. So I'm going to bring first to the forefront my girl Monique. And if you were following me on Facebook or any one of my social media handles, you would have seen Monique and we just decided to relax on Wednesday because she came late all the way from Point, but that's okay. She's here this evening. Welcome, Monique.
Thank you so much, Madonna. Yes, it's wonderful to be here tonight. And my name is Monique Dan Glad.
Okay, so she's glad, okay? Monique Dan Glad. All right. Hey, I see Auntie Monica. Oh, Auntie Monica drop in. Nice to have you, Auntie Monica. Auntie Monica, happy early birthday. I don't know if I'll be there because I'll be in Point 14 and no Point 4. All right. But Auntie Monica, she's here all the way from Boston celebrating her birthday with us. And JJ from Loventon. Love ups. JJ gave me some sorrel. Jada couldn't wait. JJ had to be like, stop. Okay, this is my sorrel. All right, let's get this correct. How this is going down. So we have Guyana locked on. So wonderful evening to all those in Guyana. I wonder if that's because McGill here.
Yes.
Oh my God, listen to me, people. I have, I was letting it out the bag, my girl sharing. So you all can see us on FBN TV, and you can also see us on Facebook as well. I'm going to go on so that I can have my interactions with my people. So yes, Empress T all the way from Guyana. Great to have you locked on, darling. So I'm on Fridays, Saturday in boat ride, and Sundays I'm things with the children. Her daughter and son, they're a part of Kingdom Kids as well. Okay, so we have Andrea, so you'll tell us, Andrea.
Hi, good night, everyone. My name is Andrea Archer. So I am a born Guyanese, as you would know. You will hear it sung in my voice.
Hear any accent, right? Oh my God, awesome. And Tracy in Couva, how you going? Yes, wow. Okay, so already we started to get WhatsApp messages. So Monique, we'll start with you. Share with us on autism, because I know it's something that you're passionate about, and God has gifted you with certain skills to help parents that would have children that is ASD.
Okay. Hi, everyone again. Good night. So Madonna had already given the definition of what autism mean, right? So autism is actually one of the spectrum where developmental delays or disorder is, right? So we have ADHD, ADD, dyslexia, Asperger's, and all the others. So autism is a neurodevelopmental disorder, meaning that the issue is the development of the brain, and the brain is what we use in the mode of development, right? So when we were born, if the brain is not functional, every other aspect of our body is dysfunctional, right? So when it coming to just having basic developmental stages, hand-eye coordination, speech, or any other sensory development, if the neurodevelopment is out of order, then that is where the problem begins, right? So I would like to touch a little bit on the remediative aspect of autism, right? And what does that mean? So we have the issue, the children is manifesting that disorder, they go to school, and then they display a lot of other dysfunctions, right? So what do we do? What does the teacher do? Who do we talk to? What does the parents do? Because the parents are the first person to notice that there is something wrong with the child, yeah? So the methods of autism is, we talk about how do we get help? What do we see? What do we do? So there are different agencies, or there are different methods to discern what it is. So I would like to talk about the applied behavior analysis, right? And that is ABA for the definition. It is widely used as an evidence-based intervention, right? Meaning there's an assessment that has to take place, and based on what the evidence is showing, you will know that the child is autistic, because there are different levels or different spectrums of autism. There's the high functioning autistic child, or the low functioning autistic child, right? So when individuals are assessed, but in this mean we focus on the teaching aspect, the skills of teaching. So if the child is in the classroom, and we talk about the child is not focused, the child is not looking at the teacher in her eyes, the social aspect, if the child is not responding to the teacher as the child should be, well, we know there's a problem right there. So sometimes we feel, well, the child just distracted.
I'm glad you said that, because I want you to
Yeah.
I want you to say that again, because these are things that parents sometimes would take for granted. Hence the reason, I guess, they would go through the denial and just give it time as well, and that kind of thing. So I want you to say the things you just said.
Yeah, because, with the parent, it could be a fair factor, right? Because even though the information is all over, it is still not immediate to some people, because you're not thinking about autism. You're not thinking that the child may be on a spectrum. You might just think it's a behavioral issue. Why is the child so, in Trinidad language, so hardened or so disobedient? Why is the child, being so disruptive, right? But this is why we want to educate people on what you're looking for. If this is consistent, well, then you need to seek the help from the professionals, whether the teacher asks the teacher, is this something that is happening in the classroom? Or if the teacher is saying, well, this is what we're seeing from the child all the time, the parent will know, don't take the defensive route. Please ask someone to assist in assessing the child for a behavioral issue or any of the spectrum, and from there, we would seek help from the available.
But Monique, what I realize is that sometimes parents, they're most time on the defending side, meaning that, they might not want to say this is what is really going on. Because everybody wants a child to be normal. Everybody prays that their child comes out normal. So in the case where that now a teacher is telling me the child is not focused, and even though you're seeing it at home, you know, you're still in oblivious that, no boy, this can't be reading. This can't happen to my child. And I think that is where some of them don't take the precaution and the necessary help. So that when they come into schools, now, normal schools, and here is it now, you have to now place them into a school that deals with it, that helps with it. They're now lost in trying to figure out how to get it done, and they feel like they're alone in it.
That's right. Now, just before just the fact that I kind of have an issue with the word normal because based on experience, it's just a spectrum. It is a disorder or a disability. So from the time you put the word normal and abnormal, which it is scientific, yes, but we're talking about when we have to address whether the parent or the child. Remember, the child have there's a self-esteem issue, which will create a behavioral issue in the long run. So you keep hearing normal and abnormal.
So give us what to look for again, because you mentioned it earlier. So that's what I wanted us. So from the get-go, these are signs that are different to what the average child will do at a particular age. And it can be noticed from a very early age, even before primary school, because I remember, like I always say with my aunts in St. Anne's, good evening, Auntie Madeline, love ups, Madonna Zola, and the whole Azola family in St. Anne's. Very, 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 very sensitive and well learned. And, you know, I mean, she had patience sometimes. I mean, you had to have a gift as well. Because not everyone can handle the different behaviors. So I want you to tell us some of the behaviors parents can look for that will jump out at you when,
Okay, so I've listed them, right? So one of the first thing is the lack of eye contact.
Lack of eye contact, okay? So you all are hearing that?
Right, so
lack of eye contact. If you realize, from what age? Because I was hearing somebody saying
from the age of 2. From the age of 2, you can actually see, because the child would usually, a normal, a developed child who has that development will automatically look at you. You will call them and they will look at you. But the child that has the early stages would not look at you directly. They would always look at the wall, they would look on the ground, and then
something else will catch your eyes.
Right. Wow. Right? So you see, people, I have 2 ladies here who are very much into treating with children. So these are some tips, because it's not a topic that persons will discuss all the time, and we need for you to be informed as well and not be in denial. And I've learned, I got a call today that a father, you know, the wife went to get tested and you know, see what is happening, but he is still not accepting it. And I know that it's may not be what he wants, but help is available. You know, and that is what we want to let you all know as well. So go ahead on the signs.
Delayed or absent babbling. The child usually do not speak directly to you. Usually they talk to themselves. So what I have seen, we put the children in front of the telly and seeing it, the TV, and we were saying
the telly, yes.
That's
a Brit. I know. That's why I'm like, okay. I see, like she has been in the UK quite often.
So you put the child in front of the television, and we have all these beautiful programs, and because the child is highly intelligent, they record it, so they will automatically be repeating everything they say. So a lot of the children have this US British, this kind of foreign accent. So you hear them talking in like they come from away, and it's like it sounds so cute, but no, it's because they're recording based on their intelligence. You understand? Even though they're on the spectrum, they are very intelligent, right?
So I hope you all are hearing this, huh?
So they won't be speaking to you; they'll just be repeating what they have learned on the television. So now you will have to learn how to communicate with the child based on what they have been exposed to.
Wow. So she gave 2. Let me hear if you have, which 2 you have got.
So lack of not responding to your name. they don't always respond to their names immediately, especially like if you might, for instance, you might call, we're just calling a random child, so you might be calling Sahara, and she is like not responding.
But is it
to
that she's not hearing, or is it that what goes on there?
I think what goes on there, it is based on their
interpretation of
Yes.
what they're hearing.
It's the same, as we said in the beginning, remember it's a neurodevelopmental issue.
Yes.
So the brain is not capturing that as quick as it should. So that would delay, happen.
Wow. Okay.
And sometimes they tend to stay by themselves. They prefer that. That is a something.
thing.
Yes, that's a big thing. They are so introvert.
Introvert. Yeah.
Yes, they are most times introverts that they stay by. They prefer to stay by themselves most of the time than rather interact with the others.
Children. So a group of children will be, it's recess time, but this particular child will go in a corner and be fascinated by the ball or some kind of thing by
something else.
themselves.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're not doing much playing
With other children. Wow.
Yeah, we had to. That's one of the areas at my center with the preschoolers. The teachers then would engage them. They would engage them, right? And we have play therapy. So what they do, the children are always fascinated with something. So one of the students, he loves his truck. He comes to school with that truck, and you dare not take the truck away. So what we would do, we would allow the other children to have toys or something and see if that will engage his attention. So you realize after a while, it will take a bit of time, but after a while, based on the fact that the others have something similar, you would tend to see a bit of
Change.
yeah. I wonder if you see him like he wants to play, and then the teachers will decide, okay, we will take him out with the kids.
With the others.
And the fact about it is we have to do that repetitively. So that is one of the method of remediation.
Yeah.
You have to repeat that method over,
Over
because
and
that's how they
over.
learn,
Yeah.
right? So that is one of the areas we help break this system of isolation where they
Yeah.
put themselves, because they don't really need anybody, based on what their imagination
Correct.
is. Yeah. So you have to decode that and help them to socialize.
And sometimes they even like to talk to themselves.
They do. Oh, yes.
Yes,
They
they
do.
talk and they sing to themselves. I have a lot of that in class. So I will be sitting down and I will be giving work, and I would have, give work out and have them do it. And in order for them to do the work, I have one student, she sings. So she'll be singing. And I have another one, she will literally be talking to herself, and I will say, "What you say?" Thinking that she's actually talking to me, and and it's like, "Are you speaking to me?"
No, they do that.
and then after, but what I noticed is that I started to get them to more socialize.
Yeah.
So they're doing a lot of sociable skill. Their social skills are actually more in school by me. It is enhancing because I recognize that they like to talk to themselves.
Yeah.
I start having them, instead of talking to themselves, I would say, don't talk to yourself, talk to him or talk to her, and try and communicate. Saying that way, I got a lot of students that was not opened in conversations actually start having conversation with their classmates. So that is a way that it can also help break that. I wouldn't say loneliness, because they don't be lonely.
It's just what they have, that spectrum engages them in. And with my organization, what we do therapy.
Yeah.
So I have introduced like therapeutic horseback riding, or we have art therapy, we have play therapy. So what we did, we kind of break what is traditional in the sense of how we would usually go about doing remediation. So I added therapy. So those were some of the most powerful engagements I have had, and I've seen a lot of the students actually engaging in talk without being asked or engaged. To do it
Yes,
for
yes,
themselves,
and that
you
is
know?
good.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Because, but horseback riding is also important. It is very good for them.
It is.
I recognize that it is
It
very
is.
good for them. And what I do on this, and I notice, those, even though they're on the spectrum, and there are some of those that are very highly intelligent, that can read, mind you.
Yes.
We don't want to say normal, but I'm going to say just a little bit. You will find some of these children that are on the spectrum can read better than some of those
Regular children.
Regular children. Yes, they can. They
Wow.
can.
I've been
read.
hearing that. I'm hearing as well that some children are really intelligent and they would have different gifts, different skills.
Yes, they do.
And there's this person, somebody connected me with as well, and he's an adult now. He works on a ship and he plays an instrument,
Yes.
you know,
Yes.
and very, very talented, because I wanted to invite him as well on Kingdom Kids so parents would realize. So he's an adult who would have had the disorder
Yeah.
but is able to interact with persons.
That's
But
right.
there's,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of famous persons that
No,
have the
Right,
disability
yes,
too.
I've
Because-
realized that.
because
Yeah.
that is the issue. We would, the stigma with autism is that you think it's just a disorder, disability or something, but
And it's not.
it's just a disorder.
Yeah.
But remember, the system of decoding and the intelligent quotient of that individual child, it means that everything else is enhanced because the developmental aspect
Correct.
of their brain is further along than what we would think normal
yeah.
development is.
Yeah.
And you know,
It is.
persons, just now, in case you just join us, welcome. We are talking on the topic of autism spectrum disorder, ASD. So call up a friend, call up a neighbor, because I'm sure you may have known someone, heard of someone, have a friend who may know someone about it. And we want to let persons know that there is hope. And they just touched on some famous persons, and one person in particular just jumped out at me. He just jumped out and said, Madonna, you know, I suffered with ASD. And this is Albert Einstein. Now,
Yes.
who would have known that someone like Albert Einstein, one of the greatest inventors,
Yes.
Yeah, Elon Musk is also
imagine that.
the persons that create the most effective systems.
They
that
are
we know.
creative.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
OMG. So you look at persons, you hear conversations, and you're thinking, oh, you're there. No, you're not there, because Albert Einstein was a millionaire and he had ASD. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we mustn't, just put people all in a box because you don't understand
What it
there.
is.
Right, there are pros and cons to everything. And I see Whoopi here, Whoopi Goldberg.
Yes.
Imagine this. Wow. You understand? I'm shocked. And that is all in God's plan, if I can put this in, actually, because many times when you are different, people think because you're not in their norm and in the construct of their mind of what they think things should be, then you're less than. But that's not the case at all. You can accomplish, you can achieve anything with God's help. And when you hear about the persons that are high on the spectrum and even famous that you would know about before social media came into play, you know what I'm saying? That's a gift from God as well. In addition to the different behaviors and what goes on into their brain and understanding that. So if you're under the sound of my voice and you're a parent, look what could happen if you have early detection.
Correct. You can treat with it.
Yes.
Look what could happen. And thank God for these two ladies here, and I know there are many others that would have a passion and would have patience and would have the grace in order to work with children with ASD. Yeah?
I have some just a few tips for the parents.
Oh, sorry, you finished with the signs, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, yeah.
So, okay, before we go to the parent, let me give two more signs that you should look for. So they're repetitive behaviors, such as the hand flapping, or rocking.
Yes, I
Yeah.
see that a lot, the rocking.
Difficulty with social interaction and communication, as Miss said here
Yes.
before, right? So those are the most obvious signs that we would see with a child that has ASD, right? So I just want to give the parents a little bit of information. The first thing parents ought to do is educate themselves.
Correct.
If you're seeing something that is not the norm in the sense of developmental stage, if it have literature. This is how we could, aside from us going and study and all of that, everything is on Google. You understand? I don't know if people still go to the library, but the library is full of resources. Or you find a center or a school that is dealing with these issues, right?
And have it checked.
And have it checked. There are professionals that do the psychological checks.
Yeah.
That is the first thing that we do. And then they would recommend a center or a
Correct.
school that will help with the remediative aspect,
Yeah.
which is always the problem right there. Is where can we find centers that will
Yes.
assist
Yeah.
those persons that are specialized, that will help in the educational aspect.
Correct.
And I think that is what is lacking, because as we're not talking just lessons here, we have a lot of lesson centers, but we're talking about centers that are catering to the children that has these issues and could accommodate them and create a curriculum within the curriculum itself to pull them out of the area that they're in, because they struggle a lot.
Yeah.
And they are the ones that have the most behavioral issue. They are always angry, you find it rude, but because nobody seems to understand them,
And they're
right?
just
And they're
looking
always
for you
sad.
to understand
Yeah.
them as adults and trying to be on the same page. Just as sometimes you may talk to someone and they may not understand what you're saying. Imagine they're trying to get you to understand and to share,
Yeah.
express themselves,
Yes. and
not being able to get the feedback that they understand
Yes.
that could work for them. Wow,
Yes.
this is really amazing. But and I want to say special good evening as well to those that are on Facebook, to Clarissa Romaine, Dini Samaru, Nats from Dago, how you doing? Auntie Sybil and Carla logged on as well. Celia Boatswain, Llewell, Elizabeth Grant, and continue to share, because I think this information is critical, especially for parents, with young children as well. And you'll be like, he's so hard and he's not listening. But please, a grandparent sometimes can even pick it up. If something is happening, if they don't understand and they're seeing some signs, please do not be in denial. Just remember Albert Einstein, and I think that will give you a sense of hope to run to and say, but God, you could do something here, man.
Yeah.
You have a prized possession on your hand, and you don't even know, and I'm very serious about it,
You talk about early detection don't only have to begin at the age of 2. When I was doing my training in the UK, I was introduced to the baby club system, and that was so fascinating to me, because that engaged mothers, carers, or whoever is taking care of the baby, 0 to probably 8 months, and they had all these different apparatus. So remember, the baby has a developmental stage, and if that milestone isn't met, that is where they detect, okay, listen, there's some
Something
issue
is
going
off.
on.
Yeah.
So these are mechanisms. Well, for me, I brought all of that to my center. This is one of the reasons why I had open a center, not just for preschool, but for every level. And there are some that we couldn't open because of COVID, of course, but that is one of the area I want to reintroduce, because you could talk about from 2 years until, but we talk about the baby
Babies,
stage.
yeah.
The parents, you understand, you would not know the child has an auditory issue in the sense of hearing, but remember, simple
Visual.
literal thing that the baby would hear, you would know the child would indicate by turning or something. But if there is none of that, then okay, something is going on.
Right.
So early detection is even from 0, a newborn baby, up to 8 months.
Wow. I'm trying to read this message. This is very long, right, honey? So I'm just going to try to give spurts of it. So they're saying that she has a daughter. She has her son who wasn't working, and she had to pay for him to go to school. He got a job as a mechanic, and probably you linked him with a car company and helped him during his relationship, and he got married as well. So I guess she's showing that there is hope for persons with ASD.
Yes.
And before she met him, she said, that wasn't the case. But his wife was the one who, his wife had done before in a previous relationship. But after meeting, probably was you, that because they said after meeting, trying to understand, I guess the person who was helping them with ASD, his life settled as well. So sometimes it's help persons need as adults as well to function
Yes.
normal,
Yes.
as it were, if you want to say that,
Yeah.
or even for other persons to understand the differences in the behaviors.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, because listen, this affects not only the children, it affects the family on a whole, and obviously it doesn't just happen to childbirth, it is also genetics.
Yeah.
So these are the areas, even when these things manifest, you have to check your family and see who has it and what did they do. Because sometimes it skips generation, of course.
Oh.
Yeah?
Yes, it
doesn't
does.
always hit one generation after the other. But if it manifests in probably the third generation, then somebody in the generation before had it, right? Dyslexia is the same way, Dyslexia is not something that is just like that. Somebody in the family has to have it,
Correct.
So those are indications.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. This is such a powerful, amazing program with all the information coming to light because, parents who would have children, preparing for school is opening back or preschool as well and that kind of thing and may not know what to do and, may see some signs. We want you to understand that there is hope. So I want to say good evening to all those on the WhatsApp board as well. Miss Piper, Althea Valentine, Mr. Jack Tracy from Coover. Thank you for sharing. Crystal Indigo Martin and Sister Jackie, everyone else, that is logged on. Margaret White, Andrews, Mary Francis, and Denise Samaru Yearwood. Forgive me if I miss, right? But I'll try to get all in. Right. So, another question I have is adults. Can you detect if an adult has ASD, and probably would not have shared it because of the response they believe they may get, but you can see it in behaviors.
Yes. Because sometimes they lash out. They're the ones that get angry. No, but putting aside all jokes, yes, you can detect
Yeah.
it.
So again, you would have to go back on the spectrum if that person is a low functioning,
Adult.
has low functioning autism or high functioning. Because the high functioning ones are the ones that are very intelligent.
The Albert
Like
Einstein.
Yeah, correct.
Right? And
The
then there's
whoopee.
the ones that are low functioning. They are the ones that have the really severe emotional issue. They have no speech sometimes because the brain development is so damaged that they wouldn't get that level of development from them, but they could have some sort of normalcy in the sense of socialization.
Yeah.
And that is one of the issues I also have, why there is not enough social engagement with
I wanted my surprise
or-
guest to come and just say hi on autism, and his son is outside as well, so it would have been awesome for them to come and just got a little wave. And yes, he is here. So welcome my special guest.
Good night.
Let me try. So we are live. We are live. So they're making room for him, and so you can come this way, so you can be on camera as well. And you all know the voice, and I'm honored to have him with us here on YADAS. He has a wealth of information. He's head of our news department, and during COVID, he got a lot of accolades from the PM with the way he interacted with the questions as well. And we are so proud to have him here with us. So good evening and welcome, Mr. Cummings. How are you?
Thank you so much, Madonna, and it's really a pleasure to be here. Actually, this was not planned.
That's why I tell him a surprise guest.
I just happened to be in the building, and we had a discussion before that had to do with autism. And I think we have one of the persons here who is very much into understanding what autism is all about. As a matter of fact, this is I'm saying this probably for the first time. I do have a son who is slightly challenged, and he's on one of those spectrums, and so I tend to have a kind of soft spot, as it were, when it comes to autism, and not just autism, but people who are considered to be differently able. So, and I think we need to have that kind of space. Really, I've always felt that we have not really taken the time, from a society's viewpoint, to really focus and understand persons who, who would be categorized as having that or at that level. But maybe there's the time is now where we need to really focus, give that kind of, and not just for a particular day. We celebrate these occasions when it comes around. I think that we are supposed to have more of a intense kind of involvement in terms of education and those kinds of things, so that we can keep the conversation alive. Because it's the only way. I say this in my program. I do have a Wednesday program, and I always say that we need to keep the conversation alive.
It's true. Yeah. I'm really. Mr. Cummings, I was really blown out of the water. And of course, you probably would be aware that I didn't know Albert Einstein was ASD, and Whoopi Goldberg, and just now I just noticed Magic Johnson.
Yes.
So this gives you a sense of hope and understanding that your child.
We are not alone. We are not alone.
Right, your child can be the best that they can be. Yes. So it's not like it's a write-off and that kind of thing. But once you work with the correct people who have really a passion about it, as my girl Monique and Andrea would have, and Monique has been selfless about it, with her school and everything else. So there is hope, and they are here to really help you. I think you should put in a plug and just give your number, because I know that persons are listening, and those that are in denial, they could call secretly. Other people don't have to know. She's very confidential as well, so that she can help you in this journey for your son or your daughter to be the best that they would want to be, and you would want them to be.
Okay, so my number is 464-9658. That is just to call, 464-9658. My WhatsApp number is 319-1324, right? And call, and we have lots of stuff. We are in Point Fortin though, but we do have other centers that is about to really be established. One is in Sandy Grande, and I would really love you all to tap into the therapeutic horseback riding that is in Arima and Black Stallion Therapeutic Riding Center.
So could people who are not autistic come and ride the horses?
Of course.
I just find some
Yes,
awesome kind of opportunities here.
He would love it, because he not only deals with persons of any level of disability, but you do horsemanship and all of that, right?
Okay.
But on the therapeutic aspect, that is those are the method I use in my center, and I've done it since 2016, and we started as a homework center, and those kids were able to get aids, in the classroom and stuff, and that is when I said, okay, this can't just be a center. We need to have the school for different levels, so we have primary, secondary, I just went all out.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is my passion.
One of the things I've always been concerned about has to do with corporate Trinidad and Tobago's response to these kinds of, issues. And we all talk about this thing about, having a corporate responsibility. And I think that corporate Trinidad and Tobago also needs to do more in terms of supporting NGOs and CBOs and persons who are, I would say, on the ground, basically. And I tend to think that it's really a whole of society approach when it comes to education and involvement, citizens' involvement.
Yes.
I think that's that's so much so important as well.
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow, I'm really happy to hear the opportunities that the children would have. And I think you mentioned that you allow the ASD children to work along with the other children.
Yeah.
And how does that help them?
Okay, so we were talking earlier about milestones and different types of development. So you cannot just have children on the spectrum all by themselves in a school, because they need to see what the mirror of what they're supposed to do, because they don't really know that they have an issue, in their mind, that is who they are.
Right. So we're talking about socialization.
Socialization,
Yes.
and in the classroom as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did was I blend. So my school is not just for special education children, but they have, if the parent want a secure small group where we have individual attention and stuff, but we engage our children on the spectrum. So it's not only autism, we have children who have nonverbal students. I have a 16-year-old who is autistic, but he is so beautiful, really lovely. I love him too bad, And then we have students who have dyslexia. So there's another level of learning development. Then you have a student with Asperger. So now, because people is understanding what the center is offering, we are now starting to get that type of traffic.
Yeah.
You understand? Because what I did was, I said, I engage a holistic aspect where I have all these different
types.
therapies in the curriculum, because you cannot just do the educational aspect alone.
Yes.
It wouldn't work, you understand? Because remember, it's like you're decoding whatever the issue is.
Right. So the approach has to be multifaceted.
It must be. Well, at least from my perspective, that's what I have developed. Yeah.
Wow, yes.
At our school, it's mixed also, where we have the different types of disabilities, and we also have the norm. So we have a mixture at our school.
Right. Great.
There you go, Madonna.
Yes, so I'm thankful for my special surprise guests for coming in and sharing and being open. So here is where it all happens. We keep it real on YADAS.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
why he was able to share information that is close to his heart. But because, like I always say, we're here because we care, and we're here to help each other in our journey. All right, so we can't keep the information for ourselves, because you now may meet someone, or you may have a grandson or granddaughter and notice certain things and tell them check it out. And I'm telling you, young people, when your grandparents or your mom may say something, listen to them now. Do not be in denial. Early detection
Yes, solves everything.
Yes.
Early detection creates prevention.
creates,
Diagnosis,
right?
yes.
And that is important, to detect it early. And I call names of a few people that are famous, that are out there, and there are so much more, because I remember this lady was passionate about it, Tony Braxton. I think her son is ASD as well, and so many people you would hear mention it and would have thrived through it.
Yes.
So therefore it's possible, and that is the message that I want to bring to the table, that they can thrive through it, and we are here to support and find that space, just as my girl would have messaged about the person being grown and working in the garage as a mechanic and doing an excellent job and having a family as well and all that kind of thing. So it is possible. And then you see the creativity in Albert Einstein. I mean, what else you want after you hear that?
Yes.
What else?
And there's so many others that we don't know.
I feeling bad because, I'm supposed to be normal, as you would want to say, kind of thing. So really and truly, we give God thanks, and I hope it really open up your eyes to understand that there is hope. You do not limit your children, all right? And do not be in denial. you know, ask God for the grace and for the love to continue to help others while, you know, they are on their journey, because they are young, so they won't stay that age all the time. They will
Correct.
grow up, so you have to prepare for their future as well.
Yes, you have to help them to be able to deal with society still
Yes.
within the circle of whatever spectrum that they may be on. You
Yes.
still have to help them to be
Yes.
able to face society.
I just
think
have,
one-
I find Monique looking like she's getting emotional.
No,
because
I
she's
have
so
one.
passionate
I have
about
one
it,
plug
sir.
in because one of the mentors I have that started me on the journey of having an education center. He wouldn't want me to call his name, but he is such a brilliant. He had dyslexia, or he have dyslexia, and he started to read at 20, and now he is a very successful businessman.
There you
He
go.
is a YouTuber. He does so many fascinating things, and that is how my business thrived, because he was able to say, okay, Monique, based on the fact that this is where your center is circle around, I'm going to put all my programs tertiary level for adults and stuff. So it was like, you know, he saw something, and I am saying locally we have people who are successful that are on a spectrum, but because they were able to fight it, but now we have centers now where we could actually bring the children to help them in some way or
Yes.
the other. It would not be a short process, people.
Yes, so
It
it's
takes
not an
long,
overnight
it's a
one. No.
slow process, but the work, the consistent support, and you would see a difference gradually. You know, the idea is to help the child or the adult to get what they need socially, you know, educationally, whatever they
Correct.
need, you know.
And even in helping, as the teachers will help, as we will help, sometimes what I find is sometimes parents, because they may find out and they may detect it early, they tend to treat it as it's a bad thing sometimes.
Oh, yes.
They like to do that. You find a lot of parents doing that at our school. Because you know that the child has a certain type of disability, it's not for you to baby it or you know, not to have. I'm not saying don't
I
have a
got you.
feeling towards it, but if he or she is doing something wrong, you still have to correct
Yes.
them, and you
Yes.
still have to
Yes.
guide them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You cannot say, well, you know, he or she is on the spectrum, so they can do that, or because now they grew up now thinking that because I may,
Have a disability.
yes, they
Yeah.
can do whatever they
Yeah,
please
You
in
had to
school.
take away that
That is a very
entitlement.
nice
Yes,
thing.
you had to
Yes.
take away the entitlement.
Wow.
So this is one of the area of educating parents. So what is needed is a lot of parents to know. Okay, parents. This is one of my heartfelt requests. Do not compare your children with other children, especially when they're
Correct.
manifesting these
Yes.
different
Signs.
disabilities, because that is the most frustrating. Because you will frustrate yourselves.
In
If the child is
process.
detected to have an issue, if you went to the professionals and you got that report, relax. Now the agenda is to find the solution.
Correct.
Yes.
Because you're going to frustrate the process of the child, and you're going to frustrate yourself. Because I've seen this happen a lot.
Yes.
They come in the center, they start good, and because it's seen to be that the school is for children with disability,
They expect miracles.
yeah,
with-
or they get
yeah.
afraid
Yeah,
because they don't
yeah.
want the stigma.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
don't want to be associated, and
Yes.
that is where the problem for me, because you see children fall by the wayside because of the fear. You understand? So I would really implore parents, if this is your struggle, listen, your child is yours, and the success of that child depends on you.
How, yes, how
You
the
know,
child is
how
treated
you-
with. yes.
exactly.
One of the things for me has always been the importance of the development of life skills.
Yes.
And I think more so, apart from the formal education, which is also important, I think life skills are so critical in terms of the development of children, especially where we're talking about children who are differently
spectrum.
able and who are on that spectrum. So there's some basic things, you know, you teach them the value of money, and
Yes.
you teach them, you know, how to do some of the basic things, the
Things.
everyday things, you know,
Yes.
that are so necessary in terms of their growth and their development. So it takes a different kind of educational approach.
Yes.
You know, and I think with the coming together of the community. There's an old saying that, we talk about a child.
Village.
There has to be a village approach.
That is
Yes.
right. That is true.
And I think that lends itself to creating the kind of individual that we'd all like to see
have.
and to have. Yeah.
Yes, I
Yes.
agree. I agree totally.
One of the things that we at our school that we're starting to implement for the bigger girls is that we want to do a cosmetologist because some of them, their parents has already come to the understanding that they might not be able to write CXE or SE those. So for the set that we have gotten, because we have gotten, I think not last year, the year before, we had a student that wrote from our school and he would have passed for Trinity. Right?
ASD?
Yes.
Wow.
On the spectrum, he would have passed for Trinity School. But it have those that still struggle with it. So what we have implemented, as you said, basic living skills.
Yeah, how we must.
Where yes, we teach them, we do bread, cakes and pastry with them, we do cosmetology with them. So we have somebody come in, we're having somebody to come in with them and teach the girls certain things, and we will be doing stuff with the boys to help them,
Yes.
to develop a skill. So even still, you might not have getting the chance to write essay, but the national test he or she would have gotten to
Yes.
write and still be able to handle themselves out there.
Yeah.
All right, so there's hope. Parents, guardians, caretakers, caregivers, there is hope. And I think that we all have a responsibility to our children, regardless of whether they are on a spectrum or not on a spectrum.
Correct.
It's important.
That's right.
Our input is important in terms of guiding them and having that kind of molding in the way that we'd like to have them. Madonna,
yes.
I must take my exit, but it has been a pleasure being on the program. As I said, this was not planned, but all the same, I'm really happy to have, taken the time to chat with these two lovely ladies on your program.
Thanks.
Awesome.
So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cummings, for taking the time out to, grace us with your presence. It was greatly appreciated, seriously. And, as we continue in the journey, let us do this together. We are all in this together.
Yes,
You
it
understand?
is.
And
That's
that
right.
is what I think
That's right.
we'd want to leave with you guys as Monique. As Monique just shares a bit more for us to grasp. But I think, this was really, so informative and enlightening as well. And I think, brought it home to so many persons as they were saying, it's so informative. And, persons are really welcoming the information.
Excellent.
And
Yes.
it's something that I will continue. You'll be getting it here on YADAS. Lots of information coming to help you because we can't stay and do one thing all the time.
That's right.
Correct.
But there are so many facets to life and things that affect us in our daily journey that we can help and address in our community as well. And, so there are a lot of things. Even in schools, I think is something that affects a lot of other children, but they're not at a place where it's detected. It's
Yes.
just that, oh God, it is misbehave, I can't take this now. And then they send them somewhere to some,
then they
and,
leave
and
behind.
nobody takes the time to really, see if it's ABC. And, it's a lot. It's a lot in the spectrum when it comes to education and the signs.
All right. Madonna,
Yeah.
thank you so much again, ladies.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you.
Have a good night.
Blessings. All right, Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Cummings, he is making his exit. And we really give God thanks for the opportunity. And maybe you're locked on and maybe you've been just, coming back and the doctor said, this may be a challenge for you. Then all is not lost. One of the guests said it. All is not lost. There is hope.
There is.
Right?
Yes.
And if you could just share, some one or two success stories.
Okay. So at my center, I we have kids that are the preschoolers. So I have some nonverbal students, and last term we had about two of them, two boys, and based on the different methods and techniques we were using for to kind of encourage speech, that young man started to talk, and the teachers was like, "Miss," he calling the other child's name, and they were like, I wasn't in school that day, I didn't, so they videotape it and they sent it to me, and that was like, wow, you know. And the child only started in September last year, so we saw the methods, right? That was one. And previously, from years before, with some of the therapy, especially the horseback therapy, I have a lot of students that had used that, we used that system, and they were able to get aids, because we had to do an assessment. Again, I was saying, it is not going to be happening in 1 month. It takes a period of time.
Yes,
and due to the fact that the parents were consistent and we were engaged in the program, we were able to have those kids gotten their aids to be in the classroom. And they didn't stay very long because they continued with the remediation. And I mean, talking about children who had dyslexia, issues with reading, ADHD, and all those things. So we saw over a period of time that they were coming out on the other side.
You know what I would want to do, if you all would permit me, as we go along, I think we would want to touch on some of the other issues, the ADHD. You hear so much of that as well, because it begins, you know, the foundation is where it begins. I keep saying that, and there, if it begins there, you can't build a house and the foundation, you're not fixing that properly, right? And I think here is where it begins with, you know, understanding the different issues and how do we treat with it and where do we go, and so I think that is something that I would like to do as well with the other
segments.
Yeah, that's that, and the other things you mentioned as well, because I know of a lot of persons, you call some things there that they could identify with or would know somebody who would have had, you know, that type of issue as well. And you need to give your number again. They are asking me for the number again, because persons are saying they are aware of people in situations, but they're in denial, and that's a big thing. Big thing.
I guess too, because there's a stigma. So we need to eliminate the stigma. So again, my number to call, 464-9658. My WhatsApp, 319-1324.
Say that again.
464-9658. Number to call. WhatsApp, 319-1324.
Right, so in case you just joined us, because persons were coming in and they're now trying to find out what the topic is about, we are talking about autism spectrum disorder. And we are bringing that hope to persons, of the success stories of persons once you get early detection as well, how that can help and change your cycle, as opposed to when you just get the information, you read it and do your research, and then you say, oh my goodness, you don't know what to do. It's not a death sentence, you understand? And there are many children that have survived, and we just
because
heard,
even last year we had a child also, she passed for her first choice.
No, and tell me, and you're in denial. No, you don't be in denial.
And all we
Pray
do
and
is
ask God
apply
for strength.
we apply for the concession for them. So they would have gotten the concession to be able
to do it.
To sit and have the time, because they need extra time.
Yes.
They need that extra time. So that extra time that the ministry would have allotted for them, I think that is what makes
Made
the
the
difference.
difference.
Yes.
I had my first two SEA students last year, and one of them were homeschooled, and they had to do the same concession. So
we
our centers
apply,
are allowed to sign that, so that the child had either a scribe, because even the area of handwriting, there are children who have a neurological issue that cannot write. So we have the assistive classroom. It's a whole lot. It's a lot of areas to touch. But again, we are here to assist you
Yes.
in whatever way. I'm sure there are others that will rise up and
Yes.
manifest.
And as
And you all can call Madonna, right? You know, get your best interview done.
I'm in a Rima.
All
Yes,
right.
I'm
So
important.
you all would have it nationwide eventually once we continue. So let us start addressing it from the foundation, because I remember even when my daughter did SCA, the school was phenomenal, her primary school, because they had the concession as well.
Yes.
And I don't know if the child was dyslexic or whatever, but they would have the reading part of it and would help them
Yes.
during school. And for SEA they got the extra time.
Yes.
And listen to me, people.
Yeah.
Again, she came out with a full certificate.
Yeah, first choice.
If this child parent was studying people and and not believing in her child
Yeah.
and giving her that sense of
Yes.
hope and belonging, that what would have
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
I was
Correct.
so happy. I felt like it was my own daughter because we knew the journey.
Yeah.
Important.
It's important. It is very, very important.
So there is hope. Don't give up. God is faithful. I'm telling you. And if you don't know him and you're under the sound of our voice, get to know him, and it's going to be easier for you. It's going to get better.
That's right.
Yes.
It is going to get better. And that is why we are here tonight, to share with you and let you know. And I thank you for the kind regards. Everyone is saying, great program, very informative, and I'm going to touch on the others as time go along, especially the
ADHD and dyslexia.
Oh, see, they know what to, you see, imagine that before I could say it.
No, but dyslexia is
we
one of the
have to.
main learning area, because a lot of children have an issues with reading,
Yes,
comprehension,
they-
writing, but because we think the child is slow, or the child is, I don't like that dunce word, but we like to use that.
Yeah, boy, in
But it's
Trinidad,
not that,
it's
because
wrong.
we have to figure out if the child has what spectrum of dyslexia.
The child
So
is
those are other
So that has a
areas.
spectrum as
That
well.
is a spectrum,
Yeah.
and it's very rampant in school.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes,
and
yes.
they have a lot of behavioral issue assigned to that, because the child can't read.
It's true.
you
It's
know,
true.
And then they
They lash out.
Then they lash out.
Yeah.
And because they cannot read and understand and comprehend
Yeah.
properly, now they're left behind at
Yeah.
school.
And that is a neurological issue as well, eh? That is another area. So there's a lot that we will eventually touch on.
Okay, well, Trinidad and Tobago, I know that you have been so informed this evening. We're going to give you some more music as we go along. We just give you a little snippet because we really want you to understand, what is happening. Sorry, we want you to understand. Thanks, Nats. What is happening, and as your child progress, because many persons will from time to time have a disadvantage, as it were, and you may take it for granted. Become informed, do research, get information, become in the know. All right, and you can call Monique and
I'll give you my
Andrea.
number.
She'll give you her number as well. So you have somebody from Arima, you have somebody from Point Fortin.
So the number for our school office is 796-2128. That is 796-2128. Or you can call me on 322-7894. 322-7894.
Right. So,
And give the name of your school as well.
okay.
The name of our school is SEADC.
SADC. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And
The name of the school in Point Fortin is Integrity Care Remedial and Diagnostic Center. We are located in Spring Trace, Warden Road, Point Fortin. Again, my number is 464-9658. The WhatsApp number 319-1324.
And you see, because I'm involved in marketing as well, Trinidad and Tobago, and I love working with clients. This is how I met Monique.
Yes.
Through the advertisement of the concert Jubilation. And here's what jumped out at me. Imagine he's having a concert and he is partnering with his autistic school. When I saw this, I was like, who does that? And I'm saying I would like to know this person
nice.
because, finding out about the school as well and that type of thing, and then he can partner with that shows his passion and his compassion for children as well. I tell you, God really has graced us and blessed us with really good hearts, and so I want to encourage those persons in Point as well. I'll be there, Lakeview, tomorrow, God's willing. I tell you, it's going to be off the chain. Yeah. You can call him 734-6673 or you can call 366-1228. Part proceeds goes towards the autistic school. So therefore, when you're sowing a seed, it's not just, okay, you're going to a concert, you know what I mean? But it's going to make a difference in a child that may be challenged with some sort of disorder, yeah? And you can get also tickets at Ruth Avenue at Maranatha Bookstore tomorrow. Hair Expressions in Point Fortin, Glaze Nails in Central, and you can call him as well. And the tickets are only $150, $80 for children 6 to 12, and children under 6 absolutely free. Also, Boodoos in Dow Village. I can't wait. I don't know where Dow Village is, but I go in. Yeah. So that was really amazing. Thank you so much for coming and share with us, and enlighten us and cause us to be aware of what we can look for to detect if something is a bit off with, our children and the way they communicate. So just give some signs again quickly, especially the way they communicate. I think that was one of them.
Yes.
And not being able to, the eye contact as well. The flap, right?
Speech.
Yeah, they speak to themselves,
they isolate themselves, especially in preschool care. You would see it from there because that's where, I saw my aunt, she was teaching us, as to, and she just observe, and when it was time for them to go to primary school after being there for preschool, she would have mentioned to the parents. Of course, they were in denial, and I think as well, I know this person, they would have been working with children with disabilities. So I think it's because it probably hit home so much. They were in denial.
It's scary. It is scary,
It's a very scary
because you don't know who could help. So this is why every person that is involved on the spectrum as educators or centers or whatever, we need to be more outside, more open, more confront, in the front. So people can see, okay, in this community we have a center, in that community we have a center.
Yes.
And this is what the community
to be able to
is, you understand? Yeah.
Wow.
I think somebody in Arima refer her to Andrea, somebody's in Point.
Yes.
Well, they make me want to study this thing, boy. I tell you, Andrea, when Andrea set me up so, I go on one time, I had on any book. When Monique started. Yeah. So, thank you, ladies. Safe journey. God bless you. So, Trinidad and Tobago, you're listening to the Friday Night Live with Madonna J in YADAS. And this evening, it was all about our children and autism spectrum disorder. Yes. Yeah, ASD. So stick and stay, don't touch that dial. So bye to my Facebook people and YouTube. I know you all will go on and look because I haven't done YouTube for ages, but I'm getting back there. You know how it goes.